Got my egg whites, my broccoli, and my rice. I had a day off today, so I'm just enjoying the day off at the park. I haven't spent time like this in a while, you know, and it just reminds me how good it feels to just not have to clock into work all the time, you know. It just feels amazing being free, and it gives me a glimpse and a little taste of what I want in the future in terms of building my clientele, doing something that is purposeful and fulfilling to me, which is helping people transform their lives, right? Bringing out the best in each person that I meet and each person that I come across, making the most impact that I can, right? And this to me is more fulfilling than anything else that I can do in this world. And I've done quite a few things, probably not as much as making it seem like to be, but you know, so far with everything I've done in terms of I've been coaching badminton for years. I've been in service. I've had my own business. Worked multiple different jobs, sales, warehouse, you name it, right? And this to me so far surpasses everything in terms of purpose, in terms of fulfillment, and in terms of meaning to me. So if I could do this, my goal is to have this become a full-time career, right? I want to help people transform their lives, make as much impact as I can while doing what I love, right? That'll be a dream come true. What I've been doing to get closer to that and make my dream a reality is I have my own coach right now. He's basically not only a coach, I see him as a mentor as well, right? So I'm investing into a coach and a mentor myself. That way I'm constantly learning. That way I can always teach my clients as well. Secondly, I'm working out and I'm taking care of my body and I'm taking care of my relationships and my family, my friends and whatnot. That way I can stay grounded and become the best that I can be for everyone else around me as well, right? I'm constantly investing in myself. I'm learning new things. I'm looking into faith as well. Always trying to acquire new knowledge, always trying to learn something from people that I meet, because everyone can teach you something, right? Whether they're quote unquote behind or ahead of you or in the same spot. You can learn something from everyone because everyone's experiences and each person is unique in their own way, right? There's no two people in the world that walk the same path, right? No two people see the same tree, right? That's a saying that I like, that stuck with me for a while. You can ask people to describe this water bottle. Some may notice a snowflake right away and go into detail about the snowflake. Some might, I don't know, you get what I'm saying, right? Some might like the teal color. Some might like the fact that it's insulated. Some might think that, oh, it's perfect for an adventure. Some might just think that it's cool for a decor. There's so many different perspectives out there. So it's important to take into account each one. Not to say that you need to acquire and, not to say that you have to acquire each one for yourself, but to be open-minded to it is what I'm trying to say. Be open-minded to everyone. That way you can always be a student of life. And no one is ever too good to be learning, right? There's so much in this world, you can't learn all of it, right? That's why it's useful, and it's actually the smarter ways to learn from people, right? Because you can't walk a million paths, right? But there are millions of people that you can take a bit of their paths and what they have learned, what they've compressed into a nutshell, take a piece of it. That way you can try to complete this puzzle, I guess, of life. In terms of knowledge, in terms of everything else, you can try to complete this puzzle with as least effort as possible, if that makes sense, right? You don't have to learn everything yourself. If you can learn from others, you don't need to learn everything from yourself, by yourself. This is smacking right now. As you guys know, if you've been following my journey, I'm about 3 days out from Worlds right now, and this is my last show for the season. I'm super excited to not only compete at Worlds with some of the best, but also pretty excited on ending my season as well, right? Because it's been a pretty brutal past 4 months for me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. From never having prepped in my life to going into full-blown prep mode, cooking every single meal, training, rewiring, adjusting all the things in my life to be able to fit this prep and bring my best, and it definitely has been one of the most challenging but also the most rewarding things in my life that I've had to do this year, and even in the past couple of years, right? Like, prep has brought me so much structure that has bled into my relationships, bled into my business in terms of coaching my clients, bled into my time management, and raised my standards for myself in ways that I never thought was possible and that I really felt like I needed. You know, past couple of years I've been more in kind of like an experimental phase where I've just been working on, just trying to find something that sticks, right? I ran a boba business with a couple friends. I've been doing badminton coaching, trying to promote that. I was working multiple jobs and, figuring out whether I should go back to school or not. There's so many things that I've been juggling. And, prep in itself, although it is bodybuilding and, eating clean and training, and you can call it it's just a gym or whatever you want to say, but it's ultimately brought me so much structure in my life, right? I guess you could say how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So the more I was structured with my meals, the more I was structured with my training and my sleep, and the more I started to prioritize myself, everything else kind of just naturally blended away. People that weren't meant to be in my life were normally weeded out, like naturally weeded out, through the grind, because the grind showed me a lot in terms of prep, isolation, and just being laser focused just showed me who was really there for me and who would really support when it got real. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm super grateful for all the experiences and the lessons that I've learned. I know for a fact that I will be taking this with me for life. Prep, not even just, obviously I got my pro card and whatnot, which I'm super grateful for. I competed in the second show, got second place in my first ever season, and I qualified for Worlds for my last show. So it has been one banger of a season, and I'm just super grateful, guys. Like, I'm grateful for my coach, I'm grateful for everyone that's been around me, my girlfriend, you know how much you do for me, you know how much I love you, my friends, my family, it just means a lot to me, right? Part of why I'm doing this too is also for my family, for my loved ones, for the people that are close to me, and obviously for myself, but they are the main drivers for me, right? Obviously I want to get myself into a better position. I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to be able to provide for my girlfriend. I want to be able to provide for everyone that depends on me, right? That is my goal. That is why I strive to do my best every single day. No matter what, I get up and I choose to do my best, even when it's not easy, right? So that is exactly what keeps me going. And I think it's super important to have a strong why. If you do not have a strong why or a strong purpose, you will fold at any circumstance that comes, right? Any resistance that comes your way, you will use it as an excuse to stop going. Take your foot off the gas. But if you have a strong why and you have a strong reason and you're grounded in that reason and it's ingrained into your brain, that'll keep you going through most days that most people would quit. So I know a couple years back I read this book from Dean Graziosi. It's called Millionaire Mindset Habits, Millionaire Mindset Habits, something like that. Fact check me if I'm wrong, but it's by Dean Graziosi. He's a real estate person, and he's a multiple business builder. And he said there was this exercise that he went that really stuck with me, and it was talking about asking yourself why, right? And it was asking yourself why not just once, but 7 times, right? What this does, it peels back the layers of your reasoning and your why, your purpose for doing anything that you want to do. So for example, you ask yourself, what are your goals in life? Some might say, I want to get rich. Why? Right? Why do you want to be rich? And some might say, so be able to provide for my family, this and that. Okay, well, why do you want to provide for your family so bad? Right? And you keep asking yourselves why 7 times until you get a grounded answer that you can stick with. And not only does it, makes you reflect more, but it makes you really, really, really picture why and envision why you want the things that you want. and I thought that it was super helpful. So shout out to Dean Graziosi for that. Millionaire mindset habits, all right, or millionaire success habits, something like that. Fact check me, guys, but yeah, I set my goal and my purpose and my why back in 2020, and I told myself that this is gonna be for my family because they have sacrificed so much for me. My parents, my parents have sacrificed so much for me in terms of, we didn't always grow up the richest, right? We didn't have much money or anything like that, and they were working two jobs, and they were just, just always busting their ass off. I would say, I guess, but at one point I even had a babysitter, right? I had to go to a babysitter after school, and me and my sister would just, have a babysitter take care of us because they didn't have time, right? Just because they had to work and provide for us, and to this day, they're still working. They're getting old and they're nonstop working, right? They're even harder working than me, and I consider myself lazy. And when I compare, seeing their grit and their determination throughout the years, and endless nonstop grit and perseverance and drive to be able to provide the best that they can for me and my sister, and just gives me no reason to slack off, right? It gives me no reason to be lazy and no reason to complain. They've given me everything that I've ever wanted, and more, with what they could. Obviously, I'm not saying they gave me, the nicest cars or anything like that other people might have, but to me, that's not what matters, right? What matters is their grit, their perseverance, and their endless support. Whether they were sick, whether they were tired, whether they didn't feel like going to work, they went to work because they had to provide for us. And that alone means the world to me. And I can I can never ever repay them with no amounts of money. No, I can never repay them, honestly. And the best way that I can repay them is to be the best that I can be, and grow up and become successful, and maybe help them out with some money, have them relax a little bit. That's ultimately what I want for my family and my parents and my sister as well. If she doesn't have to, I don't want them to live, I just want them to live a peaceful life, right? A more enjoyable, more relaxed life. And they can sit back and finally exhale after all their years of work, right? That is why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. And, that is my why that I've established since COVID, when times were tough, when I was on my rock bottom. So, back to this moral of the story is to have a strong why, have a strong purpose, and have a strong drive behind what you aim to do and why you're doing the things that you're doing. Because other than that, you won't stick to it. So if you have a goal in life, guys, whatever it is that you want to do, don't be afraid to dream big, right? Dream as big as you fucking want. The world is your oyster. There's billions of people on this planet. Who is here to tell you what you can and can't do, right? So long as it's reasonable, so long as it's injustice, it's fair, and you're trying to make a good impact. What can anyone tell you, right? Go do what you want to do. Dream big. Have a strong why, and be humble while you're doing it. And learn from people, inspire, love each other, be kind. These things are free to do. They have no cost, right? Share what you can. Share what you've learned, your experiences, in hopes of helping other people. That is all free. So, end of the day, that's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my meal. I'm gonna go for a quick walk and see if I can get some content out the way as well. So yeah, you guys have a good day. Stay safe, be kind, be strong, train hard, and let's freaking get it. I'll see y'all soon.